Babes, my name is Chastity.
And my name's Hannah.
Welcome back to Bookish Babes. Today we will be giving you our July reading wrap-up.
So the first thing that I read this month, because I was in a slump and I just wanted to reread something that I knew I would love, I reread the entire Love Me With Lies trilogy by Taryn Fisher. And I've talked about this trilogy before. They're all a 5 out of 5 for me, so.
The first one that I read was The Heroine Diaries by Nikki Sixx. This was like an incredibly raw and real insight into what his life was like in the 80s when he was addicted to heroin and several other things. For those of you that don't know, Nikki Sixx is the bassist from Motley Crue, and Motley Crue did just have a new, what would you call that?
A biography, like movie come out.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's watched it multiple times. I have not watched it yet.
The Dirt.
I am a big Motley Crue fan, but I want to read the Dirt, like the book, before I watch the movie. So for any Motley Crue fans, let us know down below if you think Tommy Lee or Nikki Sixx is more attractive. We've been arguing about this. I love Tommy Lee.
I have to go with Nikki,
Yeah.
so we just go round and round about this.
Disagree.
This one was the 10-year anniversary edition, so it was kind of nice to see the actual pieces he pulled from all of his diaries over the year, and then like more of today, what his life was like today. There's like this nice part in the afterword. I did give this one 5 out of 5. I really think it was him just kind of pouring out his soul into book form, and it was really interesting to kind of read it. And I do have to say I was real grossed out by some parts. I was just like, wow, that's not even that. It was like, yeah, that's there,
Yeah.
but
I was gonna say they were a rock star in the 80s.
Yeah, and some of the parts were like, you get to this part where he's very desperate in the addiction, and there's just places that he used and things that he shot into himself were just like, I can't believe what I'm reading.
Huh.
Yeah. I'm not gonna give you specifics. If you want to know, read the book.
So if you guys remember from last month, I read See Through Heart by Amy Knight. Now, I didn't know that it was a trilogy and it had 2 companion novels that came after it, but I figured that out this month and I read both of them. It was A Steel Heart and An Imperfect Heart. And I think I put on Goodreads that the second one was my favorite, but I'm kind of on the fence. The first one might still be my favorite. The third one's definitely my least favorite. I think I gave that the lowest rating. I gave the first 2 4 stars and the last one 3 stars. But overall, they were all 3 pretty good, and I definitely think if you're gonna read one, you should read all of them because they all involve like some characters that you kind of get attached to. And I've kind of learned to love Amy Knight's writing. I had never read anything by her before I had read See Through Heart last month, so I'm definitely excited to pick up some more by her.
The second one that I read this month is In Between Heartaches by Amanda Cuff. She is a debut author, and I was real excited to get my hands on an advanced reader copy of this book. 5 out of 5 for a debut novel.
Really?
Addison and Chase are your main characters. Addison is very successful. She is engaged, and it starts out, the story is just amazing, and then she catches her fiance cheating on her.
Yikes.
And they both work for her dad, and her dad kind of takes not exactly a neutral spot, but he definitely does not stick up for his daughter like you would think. So she decides that a vacation is what she needs, and then she ends up running into Chase, who is the cabin owner.
Oh.
And then the story kind of unfolds, and I don't want to give you too much, but Chase has an amazing backstory, and you know, we're suckers for some backstories. It was really, really good. I couldn't put it down. So I definitely recommend this book, and to check out anything coming from this author.
So the next 2 that I read were Take a Chance and One More Chance by Abby Glines, which are number, let me see, 7 and 8 from the Rosemary Beach series. I told Chastity I feel like I'm kind of burnt out on this series a little bit. I think I might stop here when it comes to the Rosemary Beach series. I'm not really interested in any of the other characters except maybe Tripp. I might eventually pick up his book. But I just can't handle Nan anymore, for one. And also just because they're all pretty similar to me. I think these were probably my least favorite out of the ones that I've read.
Really?
Yeah.
So see, when I finished Take a Chance, I needed the next book. Like needed it. And I didn't have it.
That.
And the library didn't have it.
I like Take a Chance better than One More Chance. It was just all very like, I have a huge problem with romance novels that are, I don't even know how to describe it, where the guy is like, I can't live without her. She's my heart. She's my breath. I'm like, okay, you're being dramatic.
You're being dramatic.
But,
chill out.
Yeah, it was like a constant, like, she was perfect and he wasn't, and that was just kind of, I've seen that a million times in a romance novel before. However, I love Appy's writing, so I'll never rate anything of hers under like a 3.5 stars, but I think that's what I gave these two.
One More Chance I have now, and I have not read it yet, but it's coming soon. It's coming real soon. And I probably will end up finishing up the series. Because I really don't feel like that. I mean, maybe I'll have a different opinion after I read the 8th one, but I really don't feel like that.
Yeah, but if you don't know, if you're not familiar with the Rosemary Beach series, basically this one is about Harlow, who's Cairo's daughter, and Grant, who is was at one point Rush's stepbrother, but they're just really good friends now. They're all companion novels. They all live in this, town called Rosemary Beach, and they're all kind of know these famous rock stars, and it's a whole thing. It's hard to explain these two without ruining anything from the previous novels, so I'm just gonna leave it at that.
I do think even if you don't finish the rest, you should read Cairo's Emily.
I have that downloaded on my Kindle app.
I think you should read
it.
And
I like Cairo a lot. So
I think that'll add a little.
Maybe.
I skipped ahead and read that one because I wanted to know.
Well, it's a prequel, so I don't think you need to read that one in order.
I don't think you do, no. I mean, I haven't.
But it might ruin some things. I don't know, I haven't read it yet. Would it ruin what happened in Take a Chance? No? Okay.
No.
Alright.
Okay, so the next one that I read was The Rebound by J.R. Rogue. You guys already know that I just love J.R. Rogue. This one I was a little hesitant about, believe it or not. Because this one's like an age gap romance.
Oh, I love that.
But it was definitely a lot more twisty than that once I started.
Is the girl older or the guy?
The girl.
Oh, that's kind of fun. That's interesting. I've never read anything where the girl was older.
I thought it was very interesting. I thought it was a unique piece. I just loved this book. This was definitely a 5 out of 5. I really don't want to give too much away because there's so much intertwined in the story that if I say anything really different than there's an age gap, I'm afraid I'm just going to give too much away. Yeah. Really, really recommend this one. This was a 5 out of 5. I had a really good reading month. I didn't read that many, but I had a lot of 5 out of 5.
So. Love that.
Yeah.
So the next one I read, I actually brought here so that Chastity can read it so I can like this needs to be the first thing that you read this month. I need you to finish it this week because I need to talk to somebody about it.
Okay.
Because this might be in like my top 10 favorite romances of all time. I love this one. I gave it 5 out of 5, and it is Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. Now, I had never read anything by Christina Lauren. In fact, I was very hesitant to read anything by Christina Lauren. If you don't know, they're like a writing duo. And they have works such as Beautiful Bastard, and no tea, no shade, but any author that has a book called Beautiful Bastard, I'm probably not going to be interested in. I like romance and all, but I don't like the insta love. You know how there's like romance and then there's like romance?
Yeah.
There's like a fine line for me. I'm pretty picky about my romance novels. I absolutely love this one. It's about two friends. This girl's mom passes away, and her dad, well, I guess her dad, because she's a kid, buy this like vacation home, and that's like I think 2 hours away from their home, and right next door this larger family lives, and she meets Elliot, who she becomes friends with as a child, and then every time she visits they grow closer and closer, and then they kind of fall in love, and then something happens and they don't speak for a few years.
Yeah, you were definitely on a roll there.
Yes. I freaking loved this book. And that's all I'm going to say about it because I don't want to ruin what happened between them. But I really loved it.
The next one that I read is Catwoman Soul Stealer by Sarah J. Maas.
Good.
I love DC, guys. I love me some DC. She's a Marvel girl. Another thing that we just kind of
Hardcore Marvel girl.
I love DC.
Yeah.
This honestly blew my mind. I also love Sarah J. Maas, okay? She is one of my favorite authors ever. I love both of her other series. This one, though, oh my god, it was so... The story of Selena and Ivy and Harley all working together just really got me. Just got me.
I know none of those.
Poison Ivy, Harley Quinn.
I know Harley Quinn.
And Selena's Catwoman.
Okay.
So I just super loved this one. 5 out of 5.
Love that.
Loved it.
So the next book I read was Hollywood Dirt by Alessandra Torre. You guys remember a few months ago I read The Ghostwriter by Alessandra Torre, and I absolutely loved it, and I realized that she writes mostly romance. So I picked this one up and it was okay. Probably my least favorite that I've read this month. I watched it and then, or I'm sorry, I read it and then I tried to watch the movie because it was made into a movie, and the movie was not good. Which is a shame because I love Alessandra Torre and she writes really, really well. Like, it was written well, just not, wasn't a story that was meant for me.
Fair enough.
So the next one I read was 5,331 Miles by Willow Astor. I've been meaning to read this since it came out a couple months ago, and I finally picked it up this month and loved it. So basically, Jackson and his family moved to the United States, but Jackson's mom and Mirabelle's mom are best friends. So like 6 months later,
I love that.
yeah, right? 6 months later, Mirabelle and her mom follow. But when they get here, Mirabelle kind of sees that Jackson has like made new friends and became kind of a different person. He becomes a jock and he's friends with all of like the really popular people, and she's chubby and she likes to read and she's kind of quirky. In fact, she's really quirky. She's got like a lot of weird habits, which I really like. Usually like in books, like girls who are quirky are just like, oh, it's kind of cute, she's quirky, but like this girl is like quirky in like a really weird way, and I was kind of into it.
I love aspects like that.
Yeah, like she was really different, and so they kind of really grow apart, and it was hard. You know, obviously I'm not going to say which one, but one of them wants to come back together and they clash a lot. There's a lot of angst. If you like a good angsty romance, this is... Next one I read was Breathe by Abby Glines, which is the first one in the Seabreeze series. Was super, super good. I think I rated it 4 out of 5 stars. There were some cringy parts. And also, once again, it's very similar to that other one, the Sweet Little Thing or whatever, because... He's
so this
rich,
one is the one that I read
his...
first.
Yeah.
I read Breathe first.
Okay.
Out of all of them.
Yeah.
Fallen Too Far was after.
All of Abby's books are kind of similar. She definitely has like a writing style and like things that she likes to write. This one is about a girl who was raised by a single mom, and her mom is now pregnant again, heavily pregnant, and can't work anymore. And so she takes over her job cleaning this like rock star's house, and you know, they meet and shenanigans happen, as shenanigans usually do, and the book goes from there.
No, why would Chasity love it? Oh, I don't know.
Because there's a rock star in it. So in the very last book I read this month, I told Chasity I had mixed feelings about, which is new for me for a Taryn Fisher book.
Also, we don't agree.
Yes, we do not.
Not at all.
And I read Folsom by Taryn Fisher and Willow Astor. I liked it. I did. I did not like the book. As much as I love romance, I also realize that sometimes it's not necessary. And I think in this book, the romance was the main focus when it should have been like kind of a side piece to it. It's a really interesting concept. It's kind of like if The Handmaid's Tale was reversed. Men, the male race kind of become extinct almost. There's 6 men, they're called the N men, left, and it's up to them to kind of repopulate and produce more men. And so they have these things called like appointments, which is basically where they go and have sex with girls and impregnate them.
Impregnate some of them.
Yes, and of course
Doesn't always work, but...
yeah, tries to impregnate them. And of course he, you know, meets this girl that's like different from all the other ones. And that was the part where I was like, okay, this could have been a much cooler book if that wasn't an aspect. But I also kind of get why they had to do that, because then she kind of became the warrior. She became the front of this movement. And she stirred everything up, and it was really interesting.
See, and I didn't feel that way. I felt like it was necessary,
Mhm.
and if maybe because I've already read Jackal,
Yeah,
I
started,
know
but I haven't read it.
like that she is necessary, and that whole story was necessary, because
I definitely think she was necessary, and I think they should have like had a romance for sure, but I think it's classified as a romance when it shouldn't have been classified as a romance.
I didn't think it was classified as a romance. I
No.
thought it was dystopian.
Dystopian? Who
A
knows?
dystopian romance. I don't know.
Dystopian romance, yeah.
But and I usually don't like dystopian.
I don't either, and so I was surprised that I even liked this.
I was surprised that I liked this as well. I was really nervous when I heard she was coming out with one, but I gave this one a 5 out of 5. I thought it was really good. And actually, believe it or not, I know you talked about this before, but the sex didn't bother me.
Oh,
I thought it was necessary. Not necessary, but it didn't bother me, because usually
here's
when
the thing, is I think it should have been shown, but it was like, in the beginning of the book, he talked about it with like every appointment that he had, which were like multiple a day. So I was like, we get it. You're having sex with a girl you don't want to be having sex with. Like, can we think about something else? Can we move on? I feel like these details aren't super necessary.
But this is one that we agree to disagree on.
Yeah, definitely liked it. I think I rated it 4 stars. Liked it, and I am continuing. I started
Jackal?
Yeah, I started Jackal today, so
I liked Jackal more. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see how, because it kind of ended on a cliffhanger. I'm excited to see how it all carries out.
Definitely comment down below and let us know what you think. Hit that like button and make sure you turn on the notifications so that you know when we post.
And I guess we will see you guys next time.
Bye.